The Arizona Cardinals ratcheted up the intensity as they prepare for their first preseason game. We hear from offensive coordinator Drew Petzing. Plus, what's the latest, Johnny, on Will Hernandez?
Yeah, one Arizona Cardinal former first-rounder stood out. We'll tell you who. Plus, who are some bubble guys on the verge potentially of being let go ahead of the fight for 53? PHNX Cardinals starts now. My voice cracked yesterday on the live. Hey, welcome in. Live from Studio A. Sorry, that's what you get today, as I'm in studio with all of you. How we doing?
Wow.
It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. Johnny, Bo, Noah here.
Unbelievable.
You're not
it's
happy
like
with that?
You buy tickets to go see Billy Joel and he doesn't play Piano Man.
You know, I'm a little self-conscious when I scream.
Yeah.
And so, typically I ask for an overlay. And so, yeah, that's what we're doing today.
Oh, that's cool. Throwing producer Noah under the bus right
People
out
are
of the
upset.
gates. Yeah, Alex
All right,
says we.
Noah, can you put an overlay on there? We'll redo the intro. Everybody's crying about it. Let's go. Let's redo it here. Here we go. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. That's all right. Give me an overlay. Hey. Let's get in. Let me give it an overlay. Let's get an overlay.
My man has stage fright, but
I
look,
don't. Hey,
there
pole
it is.
position. Hey, welcome in. Live from Studio A. Training camp. We knocked the rust off. It's PHNX Cardinals live on a football Wednesday. Johnny Venerable, Bo Brack, Noah behind the mic. Definitely not the second time we've done this today. Your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. How we
Nice
living?
work. That was great. That was great. You stepped up and you performed just like the Arizona Cardinals, I think, first team offense and defense in spurts today. I thought defensively they were stifling.
Yeah.
They looked really good today. Probably the highest intensity practice of training camp. Who were the standouts? We'll get to them. We see some standouts in the chat. Nathaniel, how about T. Cleary, Alberto, Brian A., Daniel Barnett, Hannibal, I see you. What's going on? Finally, a show I'm watching at 1:40 a.m. What's going on? We appreciate that commitment. Chris Gervais, I love it. Yeah, it was a false start, BA. I agree with that, but we're into it now.
They all can't be winners, damn it.
We're running offense. We saw Schaff out there. How about Rex? We got to meet Rex and his dad.
Rex is awesome.
Ryan, unbelievable.
Yeah.
In from Wisconsin, trying to take in some Cardinals ball, including the preseason game. Very fantastic. So it was great to see everybody out there. This was the final open practice of Cardinals training camp. So like throughout these 11 practices, it was good to see everybody. And thanks to everybody that said hi.
We have the best community in all seriousness. We're joking around to kick off the show. It's super humbling to see all of you at camp with your PHNX Cardinals, your PHNX sports gear, seeing everybody in the Discord then come out and support, the Cardinals is great. So, again, super humbling. We appreciate all of you, wherever you may be. Drop us a like here on a Football Wednesday. The goal, of course, 500 likes every single training camp. And what a training camp day it was. We knew probably ratchet up the intensity yesterday. It was a little bit of an off day. And then you had NFL Network in the house today. And I would say the practice didn't disappoint. I thought you got some standouts. We're going to break them all down, but I'll turn it to my co-host here. Who stood out for you today?
It's you turn to the first team defense. So the way things were structured in practice today, you had the first team offense going up essentially against the second team defense, and then you flip it. It was the first team defense going against Jacoby Brissett, Clayton Tune in the second and third team offenses respectively. But I think the defensive front seven was suffocating today. And, it was a surprise who really stood out. I see a lot of people saying Elijah Simmons, they liked what they saw from the undrafted rookie free agent, and there's some good clips out there, but I thought Zaven Collins was unbelievable.
It's his best practice maybe ever. I'm not at every practice. I defer to my co-host who is there every day. Like, I look like a different player, and I think for me, it goes back to this is a guy who's still a converted off-ball linebacker who has a skill set that was worthy of an extension. And then, like, he was asked, which was, maybe a little ignorantly by the front office, like, hey, can you just go out there and play, like, 70% of the snaps? And it's like, no, it's probably not the best course of action. But here's the best course. What's the best part about Philadelphia, during their tenure running to Super Bowls? The depth with not only their D tackles, but their edge rushers. Zaven Collins is going to be the benefactor of Josh Sweat, Baron Browning, and Jordan Birch, and B.J. Ojulari when he comes back. Xavier Thomas, like, today it's like he's out there, and it's not just what he can do as a run defender, which is his calling card. And I see Monty for president saying, I heard Zaven got hurt. He actually went back in, so that was a good news. His pass rush moves looked way better today. His power off the ball, he was giving Jonah Williams all he could handle. He was giving, Jacoby Brissett a lot of grief in the pocket, Clayton Tune. So to me, it's like Zaven Collins this year, one of those players probably we don't talk about enough, but is going to be a benefactor of the depth increase on defense. I think you could say that about like 3 or 4 guys, honestly, Bo, that this group is going to be fresh. It's going to be rotating. And again, like Zaven Collins, when he's asked to do too much, probably not good for the team. When he's asked to do a very specific thing with his skill set, strategically, employed by Nick Rallis, I think he could have a really nice season for this team.
Yeah, and like an opposing offense doesn't just get to focus on him, right? And he's going to have a couple maybe rush lanes opened up on the defensive side of the football by the big beefy guys in the middle of that defense, the interior of the defensive line. And I think that's the big difference maker here. And we've said that for a long time, and there hasn't been an opportunity like this offseason to rebuild things. Nick Rallis was downright mean today as far as how he was just the calls he was putting in. I mean, there was at one point Clayton Tune who's just trying to survive out there, and poor Clayton Tune not only has to go up against the first team defense, but then you got Rallis dialing up a safety blitz with Budda Baker, who just disguised it very well and just came free on Clayton Tune. He's trying to just complete passes and make a case for himself, maybe for the practice squad, and he's got Rallis just being it's nasty work what Nick Rallis dialed up there.
I mean, this defense, does anybody have any doubts it's going to be a top unit in the NFL? I don't. Zaven Collins, I want to touch on 5 sacks last year. And again, like you might be thinking, well, it's going to go down because he has less opportunities. I think it could go up. I think Zaven Collins could be 6 or 7 sacks. What would this do for this defense if you've got Sweaty J leading the way, Baron Browning, who's looked good? I mean, it might be the most slept-on unit right now. And then, oh, by the way, you have Big 93 running around. Calais Campbell looked good today, chasing Jacoby Brissett out of the pocket. Everything that I'm reading about, Matthew Stafford's broken back, Sam Darnold in the offensive line for Seattle Seahawks doesn't look good.
Did we just break his back?
Yeah.
What was he doing? Hanging out in the sewer with Bane?
Whatever.
So he's just put him over his knee?
Nice callback. That's a nice reference. I'll give you that. Brock Purdy, who's
Matthew Stafford,
not great. Like, I just this Cardinal defensive line, like, so many teams in the division got away from line of scrimmage this offseason. The Cardinals doubled down on it. And that's what wins in the NFL. Like, their offensive line could be getting Will Hernandez any minute as depth, not to come in as a starter. And their defensive line, it's been, honestly, outside of Marv, it's probably the talk of training camp.
I would agree with that. I would absolutely agree with that. And that's something that, you want to hear that when we talked to AQ Shipley, who's going to be the new Cardinals radio analyst before the red and white scrimmage on Saturday, he was very complimentary. We've seen him on the McAfee show talk about the offensive line. He thinks that they have a top 5 group there. But the way that Monty Ossenfort has rebuilt the defensive trenches, you're just seeing that pay off in spades this training camp. You're seeing not like the homegrown guys, just like Dante Stills, healthy Darius Robinson, who was dominant last year, but was kind of the lone wolf there.
Yeah.
And then the additions, like you're mentioning with Dalvin, Thanos there. And then you got Calais Campbell, who when he's warming up, you're like, oh, Calais, does he still have it? But then when he gets in there and he's facing it's live reps, he looks just as it's vintage Calais Campbell.
I think like if Calais plays like 30% of the snaps, you're going to feel every snap he plays. Yeah. He that is such a coup for this team to be able to bring him in, but not be overly dependent on what he can do. So I'm bullish about that. On the flip side, you talk about the guys that are not practicing. Still no Bilal Nichols, and then Justin Jones was not out there today. We're pretty sure about that. I mean, that we're getting to the nitty gritty here of getting ready for a big preseason game where the starters are going to play. Elijah Simmons is out there competing. LJ Collier, Dante Stills, they're out there competing. Zaven Collins, like, this is when you win coaches over. That we're a month away from this thing, less than that, and they're using real preparation to get ready for Kansas City. They're not trying to get embarrassed in front of the AFC champion, modern day dynasty in the NFL coming into their building. So this is when you start to develop, like, who are my trench guys that I can count on to show up and produce for 17 weeks? Do you want guys who are not consistently available, or are you willing to roll the dice on a younger player or somebody maybe with a lesser skill set that you would at least know is going to be around? And I think, again, we're gonna start to get answers to those questions. I think we're gonna know pretty definitively. We're doing a post-game show here in studio with Britton Golden Saturday night. Like, who showed out?
Yeah.
Like, who can we check? And Bo and I have a pretty good idea. We're gonna be dropping a preview of our 53 man roster prediction later this week. We got some bubble guys that it's not trending in the right direction for them.
No, it's tough when you consider, like, just as far as the suspects that are vying for, or the candidates, I should say, vying for making this roster, and then also you discount the guys on the back end on it, like the PJ Mustafers of the world, and Jones, who we're hard on, I think. But it's because you see the rest of the group, the front end of this group excelling.
Yeah.
The vibes are at an all-time high in that defensive line room. Coach Debo has those guys rolling.
He's
and
phenomenal.
When they were performing at a high level today, and it was consistently throughout the 11s, whether they were going against the first team, the second team, the third team, you could see that they were feeding off of each other.
Yeah.
And, like, if you get that going in a practice, just think about what it's going to translate come week one against, I don't care if it's Tyler Shuck, who's to steal from Bruce Arians, a failure
in progress,
right? Or if it's Spencer Rattler, who's 0-5 and probably has no business starting in this league. You're going to have an unproven quarterback who's going to be staring down a very good revamped defensive front.
The secondary is a sight to behold. Will Johnson looks as good as ever.
Yeah.
He and Garrett Williams, Max Melton out there with the ones, Buda, Jalen, Taylor Demerson. Then Mac Wilson Sr. I mean, they're just running so much single off-ball linebacker.
Yeah.
And, like, kind of, we're going to touch on it later. It's like, how many of those guys are they going to keep? So the defense, to me, I expect a really good showing Saturday night. Let's turn our attention to the offense, Bo. I thought the offense did some good things today. I thought they were a little bit rocky to start team, and it's tough, right? Like, James Conner, I thought, looked, really spry. He broke off a couple long runs. Marv was back, dominating. His crosser route is as deadly as ever. And then Zay Jones was getting in there. Michael Wilson went through individual, didn't partake in team.
Yeah.
Your assessment of the offense today?
Yeah, I mean, it looked good sign that, by the way, with Wilson wearing the yellow non-contact jerseys, just means he's going through the protocol. He's making progress.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have your receiver, your second receiving option, probably ready to go here and back on the practice field shortly. I mean, he was out there a little bit today, and Zay Jones looked great in his absence, right? Running that route tree for them.
Having a good camp.
But, it was a little, stale as a start, but then you saw him kind of ramping it up. Kyler Murray finding Marvin Harrison Jr. Before they really got into practice today, there was some one-on-one drills, and it was Marvin Harrison Jr. versus Garrett Williams. Kyler Murray kind of put one over the head of Marvin Harrison Jr. and MHJ pulled it down. And of course the fantasy football Twitter is like, well, that ball could have been placed, better this, or I'd like to see more, crossing routes from Marv. Well, then we saw the crossing routes. We saw the slant game from Marvin Harrison Jr. a couple times on back-to-back plays. That's going to be part of the playbook and hopefully more often certainly than last year. But it was to jumpstart this offense, it's a lot of what we've been talking about the last 2 weeks, Johnny, where it's just like you turn to your primary playmakers and they make things happen for you. Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., that's what's really going to jumpstart you when you need it.
That's the offense passing game-wise. Like, I was on with Southwest Bias Espo earlier today. He was like, what about the
red invite?
Yeah. Nobody cared about that. No, in all seriousness, though, Zay Jones is picking up what's left over from Michael Wilson. But when Michael Wilson comes back, what's going to be left for Zay Jones, right? To what my co-host alluded to, like, this is right now, I just get the sense this is a 2-receiver passing game, and one of them plays tight end. And again, go down with your best players. 85.
It's Kansas City's recipe for success.
Right. 85 and 18 are going to get the bulk share. This is not a sexy team for like fantasy football enthusiasts. Like, you're not going to get a third and fourth receiver that are like making plays every week.
Yeah.
But here's what you are going to get. You're going to get a Marvin Harrison Jr. in 2025 that looks radically different, both physically and the way he plays, and the player you got last year, which you got a good player last year. You're going to get a great player this year. He is so comfortable in his role in the offense. Give Drew Petzing some credit. We're going to talk about Drew later. We got some presser clips. He's moving him around. He's putting him in the slot. He's throwing underneath. The 2-minute drill looked good. Marv got back-to-back throws. Like, we were talking to Albert Breer on the sideline. Breer's just like, yeah, he just looks different.
Mm-hmm.
And he had so much going on last year. He was finally able to breathe a little bit this offseason. So I just think we talked about on the way out from the facility today, if Kyler and Marv are just that much better together, that's more touchdowns for the two of them, more yardage. It's probably going to translate to 1 to 3 more wins on top of an easier schedule and a better defense. Yeah. So, like, as much as I struggle with this offense and their passing game late in the season, late in games, I think you could probably get to where you want to be offensively by just the improvement that comes from 18. And again, that's not a knock on Michael Wilson or Zay Jones, but this is the Trey McBride MHJ show.
It should be. It should be. And you've got, I think enough there. When people look at the Cardinals offense last year, they look for that extra gear and they say, okay, going into 2025 from 2024, they saw some nice things. I think you saw them finish just above average, right? Just a little bit higher than the middle of the pack. And you're like, well, how are they going to get to that next level?
Yeah.
How are they going to supplement? And every time you would turn, you'd open up an article on NFL Network or PFF or ESPN. Nobody is not without their own fault here or being wrong, because I'm going to tell them they were wrong. They were going saying, go get Amari Cooper, go draft Matthew Golden, go supplement by adding to this offense where it's not. It's what Johnny's talking about. If Marvin Harrison Jr. takes the correct step forward, which it seems all signs are pointing towards that, that's going to be enough for this offense that already can thrive through the tight end position and has a stout, well-established run game along with what Kyler Murray can do.
Yeah, I just the confidence is just oozing out of him. And he's going up against what we believe could be the best secondary in the NFC West or potentially the NFC once the maturation process happens with Will Johnson. I mean, he's going against Garrett Williams, best cover quarter via PFF, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not like he's going against respectfully like Keitrell Clark from 2 years ago, right? As a 6th rounder. This is an individual that, again, as long as, and we're going to talk about this right around the corner, so I'll tease this, as long as the offensive coordinator and get cold feet. When the lights come on, it's game time. And we know that, okay, we should be able to definitively say at the end of every game, Marvin Harrison Jr., 8 to 10 targets no matter what. We're going to talk about Drew Petzing and what he has to gain this coming Saturday and more. It's PHNX Cardinals. Again, hammer that like button. Hammer it for our friends at Phoenix Raceway Championship Weekend. It's barreling toward us on the racetrack, October 31st through November 2nd at the Phoenix Raceway. Again, if you've been in Phoenix long enough, you've seen it all when it comes to sporting events. We've had Super Bowls, Royal Rumbles, Final Four, whatever it is, Waste Management. But if you've never experienced NASCAR Championship Weekend at Phoenix Raceway, brothers and sisters, you are missing out. And after a grueling season started back in February, it all comes down to this, a weekend of pure adrenaline where legends are made. Don't miss your chance to witness NASCAR Championship Weekend in person. Coming to the Phoenix Raceway, October 31st through November 2nd. Tickets for Sunday's Cup Series Championship race sells out every single year. Do yourself a favor. Get your tickets now. Again, and just to let you know, they're going to take a break from being here for just a minute into 2026. So this is your last chance to see NASCAR in Phoenix for a hot minute. Tickets, hospitality, upgrades are all still available. Get your tickets now. We got a link in the show notes. Again, cannot wait to see you there. Championship weekend.
Championship. Love that out there in the West Valley. Avondale, where they do it well at Phoenix Raceway. We were just talking about how hot it was today. It was unbelievably
real bad.
hot. It was brutal. Probably the worst day of the calendar year here in the Valley of the Sun. And your AC, it's working double time, man. It's working like Trey McBride in that passing attack, having to carry things in 2024. Where you're looking for some help. You're looking for that MHJ. APS has got you covered. It's got that smart thermostat. It's going to make things a lot easier. Hit that easy button with a smart thermostat as low as $0. That's right. Free 99. You can get a smart thermostat from APS. Enroll yourself in the cool rewards and find out how you can really hack your energy bill and get it on a great schedule through your smartphone to get yourself locked in for lower energy costs. We're all looking for that as the sweltering heat continues. It's not going anywhere probably until October. Check it out. APS customers are maybe eligible for a smart thermostat as low as $0. When you enroll in the APS Cool Rewards program, check them out. Smart thermostat at home. Must be an APS customer. Pay shipping and taxes. Other restrictions apply. Go to marketplace.aps.com for more information. That's marketplace.aps.com for more info.
Listen, I'm not one to be critical, but can we get some likes? I'd love a like here at PHNX Cardinals. I'd love to see all of you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos Wild Horse Pass. I just talked to Coach Starks earlier today. He's going to be there August 28th at Gila at Wild Horse Pass for a banner evening with PHNX Cardinals. That's what we're calling it. Again, hang out with us 6 to 7 o'clock. We're doing a live show at 4:30, then 6 to 7 open Q&A with Bo and I for just the folks in attendance at Wild Horse Pass. And, of course, we're doing our fantasy football draft. After the fact, we got Shaft, Coach Starks and company. They're doing the Die Hard draft. So we're excited about all that. To get in, cost you nothing. Free 99. Come enjoy some beverages, apps, whatever you want. They got great food, great vibes. Come hang with us, Gila River Resorts and Casinos on August 28th. But before then, we got a couple preseason games to play ahead of this Saturday. You know, we mentioned it earlier this week. You know, the defense, there's a lot of personnel decisions to be made. The offense, we feel like we got a pretty good grasp of who's probably going to make this team, yet that's where the majority of the questions are entering this Saturday. How will the offense look? The offensive first team, which is playing, so they're going to be going up against George Karlaftis and Trent McDovey and Chris Jones, guys who are, you know, some of the best at their individual positions. Bo, we look ahead to Saturday. What do you need to see from this unit?
Yeah, I think you want to see explosives. You want to see shots, right? Am I Jonathan Gannon's introductory video?
Yes,
right?
you are.
Pew, 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 shots, explosives. But no, I mean, I why not get in there? You know, Drew Petzing talked today and said, you know, most of the stuff like operationally they want to look clean. They want to look like they're a team, and I'm paraphrasing, that is disciplined. I'm sure limit the penalties and then also be efficient as far as where the ball goes, right? But I think what everybody really wants to see, when they pay the price of admission, they want to see it paid off with the team taking a couple shots. And we got to see that out there today at State Farm Stadium. Does it continue? And is it going to be part of kind of the vanilla play calling that you get in the exhibition season? Why not, though? Like, it just go for broke. What do you have to lose? I know, you know, Petzing said you go out there to compete your butt off and try to win the football game. But with that, you know, why not, while you're facing live reps, try to really see where you can push the ball downfield?
Noah, man, do we have a little bit of Drew Petzing? We're going to work on Drew Petzing.
No DP.
I'm gonna work on Drew Petzing right now, and here's what I want to say honestly.
Oh, you want to have a conversation with him?
Hey, Drew, this is the time, because there's not going to be a grace period, even in the preseason. I want, this fan base wants this offense to take the next step in its evolution and to look like an offense that can get this team, complement the defense, and get this team to the postseason. The Cardinals finished 2-5 to end last year. Wasn't on the defense. They went to Seattle. They played their ass off defensively. They went to Minnesota, played a fantastic football. The offense came up short. And so we're running it back with the same group of players. And as we just talked about in segment one, we've got utmost confidence in those players. But let me ask you this. What happens when the run game inevitably fails? Because that's going to happen. Seattle's got a great front seven. You know, LA's got three supremely gifted defensive linemen. Niners are in shambles. We laugh at them. But there are teams that the Cardinals failed to beat down the stretch. The Vikings last year, they could push you around up front. So when it's 2nd and 12 or 3rd and 10, are we giving up on drives? Are we conceding? Are we punting the football? Or do we have the ability, the innate ability, like they showed last year at times, specifically in Miami, to go down the field methodically and make the big plays? That is something that has been missing from this offense for 2 seasons. I've got 34 game sample size with this offensive scheme and this coordinator, that it's not a receiver-friendly offense. That has to change this year. And it's got to change behind number 18. It's so funny. We break down X's and O's, every member of this roster, 1 to 53. If the quarterback, the offensive coordinator, and the wide receiver can all find common ground, and they can produce together, I mean, that's the key to the season, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, like you've got the personnel in place that you feel confident, feel a sense of conviction that you can get it done. Interesting chat comment here from Daniel. I want to see if my co-host wants to field it. I'll certainly give my thoughts on it. I'm just worried if they throw a bomb and it gets picked off, the narrative will be worse on Kyler. I'm not concerned about that. I don't mind if he's aggressive and tries to throw it downfield in a preseason game and gets picked off. Sure, look, good day for the haters, but like they're gonna hate regardless. If they're trying to work on something and they're trying to do it against with live reps and it just happens to get picked off, I'm okay with it. I'm gonna say, hey, he was just trying to really jolt the passing game and see what they have.
You can afford some turnovers this year because of your defense if it means more explosives. I would rather go down swinging with the deep ball than not try it at all. That's a losing mentality. Kyler Murray's arm looks good. His cohesiveness with his top 2 targets looks good. Hell, Zay Jones out there looking good. I feel like if you're going to default to an offensive structure that, I'm sorry, I've seen dating back to Josh Dobbs and Colt McCoy, with Zach Pascal, it's time to elevate. It's time to evolve. It's time to grow up as a unit and get to a point where we're putting Drew Petzing's name alongside the Kyle Shanahans, the Kevin O'Connells, or at least in the ballpark. I mean, like, look around the NFL right now. Your defense can only take you so far. If this offense people make fun of Pittsburgh every year. Like, this offense to me has too many good players. There are just no excuses. NFL Network was there today. They had the Cardinals offense statistics on the screen, and they were like 12 in offensive passing yards per game or total yards, and 11th in points per game. Yeah. And I'm like, I just never felt that last year.
Where they were in passing, do you know where they were?
18th.
21st.
Oh, 21st. Excuse me. But I felt the defense because I looked at the personnel and I saw the stretches of a dominant play. I do think, like, the Cardinals' numbers from last year, fair or not, were fluffed up, inflated, if you will, in some games that were non-competitive.
Well,
the Patriots game, the last 49er game, and again, everybody plays. You get credit for those games. I'm not saying that, but like, what can you do offensively against the teams that are going to the playoffs every year?
Well, and that's going to be the difference maker, right? I mean, when you think about this offense and where it needs to go, and also you can have a really good defense. We see it year in and year out in the NFL. But at times, especially when it's the best teams going up against each other and strength for strength, and you get down in a game, you can't just lean on the run game to get back into it.
That's right.
You have to throw the pill down the field. Also, in key moments, you have to be able to dial up a play because that's the separator, right? At the end of the day, the biggest separator that separates good quarterbacks from great quarterbacks, or good quarterbacks from the pedestrian guys, the below average, is the ability to make the throws in key situations in the game downfield. We've got to be able to prove that because I think last year you just didn't see it consistent enough in this offense.
I thought week 2 last year was a sign of things to come. Marv's breakout game. Kyler Murray threw the ball downfield like the entirety of the game. I'm like, here we go. This is what it's going to look like every week. It was an outlier, frankly. I mean, they didn't look like that mostly for the rest of the season. And so, again, I'm all for the run game, but sometimes it can be used as a crutch. As we look ahead to Saturday night, we have to see some competent plays downfield. I think you got to see 1 or 2 explosives, as you said, put together a couple first downs, get in field goal range. God forbid you score a touchdown. I think that would go a long way because, again, Steve Spagnuolo is coordinating that defense. I don't care if they're not putting together a game plan this preseason. This unit needs some good things to happen to it en route to a pivotal season for everybody involved. Because I'm going to tell you right now, unlike last year, if it looks the same and it holds, this team back again, they're not going to run it back. There will be changes from every unit, every position unit on the offense. Wide receiver, it'll change. Quarterback, it might change. Offensive line, right tackle, play caller. This is the perfect time for them to establish themselves. Because, listen, this unit, they love playing together. It's a close unit. The skill players, every time we see them together, they're laughing, they're enjoying each other's company. It's like, I want it for them because it's such a likable group. But at the end of the day, it's a production business. And they have to be in a position where, on the road, at LA, on the road, at Seattle. I go back to like 2015 Carson Palmer, Sunday Night Football, Legion of Boom, puts up huge numbers. Game-winning drive at Seattle. Can this team do that? I want to see that against the best. And again, we're going to find out here soon. I think Saturday is a great litmus test for this team.
Yeah, no, it's a big one. I think it's one that can be utilized as a measuring stick. Obviously, it can go, I think, 3 different ways. One, you can find and have a successful day, performance from the offense. Kyler looks efficient. He's slinging the ball all around the yard, and he's making completions to Trey and Marv and Zay Jones and maybe even Michael Wilson if he's out there by then, and Greg Dortch. Or it's just maybe it looks a little pedestrian. Or and then there's the complete flip side of that, and things look rough. That's the, I think, worst of all realities that I don't think anybody wants to see at this point because of how much they leaned into chemistry and continuity. And in the exhibition season, you would think that it should be something where it's just the easy button.
Yeah. We have some bites from Drew Petzing now. Let's hear from the offensive coordinator who met with the Phoenix media earlier today.
I sound like a broken record a little bit, but it's this clean operation, good decision making, ball's going where it should. We're getting in and out of the huddle on time. We're communicating well at the line of scrimmage. I think all those things need to show up anytime we play.
How do you assess his camp so far?
I think he's done a great job. I really do. I think he's taken on that leadership role. I think he's playing at a high level. I think he's starting to see the game and things are slowing down in terms of what we're asking, some of the nuances of hey, that's not the right call. Where do you want to go? What should we do? What are the answers? I think he's done a great job of that and certainly want that to continue. I think you just hit on it. I think that is the advantage. I think you get the chance where it's like when one guy gets tired, the next guy in is really not missing a beat and can play at a high level and really change the dynamic of a game. And, I want everybody in that room to see themselves as running back one. I think that's the mark of a great player and a great competitor at any position.
It's Drew Petzing. I asked him about Trey Benson because it was on the heels of James Conner post red and white scrimmage saying, him and Trey Benson are co-RB1s or both RB1 and, trying to get more from Drew there. And I think it's becoming more realistic. Like, is the work share going to shrink from James Conner to Trey Benson? I was pretty confident it was going to be about, 70 for James, and then the rest of the running backs ate the scraps for the other 30% last year. What do you think it comes down to? You think it could be a 60-40?
I don't know. I think Trey could get more of the work share from the Mercado this year. I think that's a possibility. Nobody's touching James Conner's carries. Sorry. I mean, James looks fantastic in practice.
Yeah.
They're going to ride him till the wheels fall off. He got an extension. But again, could Trey Benson make DeMercado some of his snaps expendable? I haven't seen DeMercado that much. And Trey Benson's getting a lot of run. I think a big thing for Trey is just how does he look this preseason? Again, I come back to his speed on tape at Florida State. Yeah. And at the combine, we haven't really seen that translate yet in the NFL. And so I think a good preseason, a great preseason would do a lot for him. I think he's going to get a lot of run. So to me, it's it's not an irrelevant conversation. I understand people wanting to get to the next guy.
Yeah. James,
that was last year. You had an opportunity. If Trey Benson had come into training camp, and this isn't a knock on a kid, he was a third rounder. So the second highest running back drafted last year in 2024. If Trey Benson had come into training camp last year and blew people away, and it was this guy is unbelievable, do you think they would have re-signed James Conner? They probably would have waited it out. Probably would have seen how it gone. But guess what? They were James is really good, and he's not falling off a cliff with his production, and he's a constant leader in the locker room. That's never going to change. They're we got to bring him back. So again, people are sick of me saying this. That's why I was a big Scatterbo guy. Because I thought Trey Benson was a good NFL running back.
Yeah.
I obviously thought Scatterbo could be on a different level. I think I've been proven right to some degree. He looks good at Giants camp. What remains to be seen. But James Conner is the alpha in that room. He's a Pro Bowl runner. He's probably on his way to a Ring of Honor entry at some point. This is his backfield. I love Trey. He's a great guy. I hope he does well this preseason. I don't think though he's pushing James at all.
I mean, when you looked at the Lions, and that might be the blueprint where you've got a true two-back system, and it's Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs. Could you create that sort of work share? I agree with you. I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah.
I mean, Trey Benson's going to have to, as much as we think he's like Rabbit Taylor Demerson, where he's going to push for more playing time than his rookie season, he's going to have to prove it.
Yeah, I think I would push back on I think Taylor Demerson is in a better spot to play more than Trey
Ooh,
Benson.
I disagree.
Okay, well, that's
You're
to each their
wrong.
own. Your opinion.
Johnny's wrong today.
It's incorrect. Full camp highlights. Plus, we're gonna break down our bubble guys right around the corner. It's PHNX Cardinals.
Pure edibles, baby. 130 locations in the valley. That's where you can find pure edibles. Their kicks, their chews, hard candies, those gummies you're looking for. They're a full-fledged candy company. They take it seriously, and they're not covered in sugar like a lot of their competitors. They want you to have a good product. Also, they want you to know what to expect from whatever effect you're looking for in your journey out there. Check them out right now. They've got each effect listed on each 10, so you know what to expect. Check them out. They got gummies for sleep support, as well as candies with uplifting effects derived from unique cannabinoids such as CBN, CBG, CBD, with marijuana derived from THC. It's created up in Flagstaff. Now they call it Phoenix home. Welcome to the big leagues, because they're big time. 130 dispensaries. They're designed to be ripped and bit in half, making them easily shareable and easy to dial in that exact dose. Go find yourself some pure edible products from one of the 130 dispensaries in the Valley of the Sun.
Since the Arizona Cardinals announced they were playing their starters, the line switched this Saturday night in Glendale via our friends at Bet365. Cardinals, once upon a time, a +2 underdog. They are now a 1.5-point favorite at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. How about it? Over-under for the matchup, 38.5. I'll be dabbling on both of those via our friends at Bet365. Yeah, I'm sick like that. Sick with it, bro. I bet on preseason. What about it? You can too right now with Bet365. Open up an account right now. $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Win or lose. All you got to do, place a $10 deposit, and again, throw a 5-spot. You're getting all those bonus bets. Perfect to use player props, futures, spreads, totals, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary. With Bet365, you gotta be 21 years and older, physically located here in the great state of Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov, Bo, for more info.
Love Bet365. Been utilizing it quite a bit during MLB season. Their early payouts, fantastic. Can't get any better. Never ordinary with our friends over there at Bet365. Download the app. Use the code. It was an intense day of training camp out there. Arizona Cardinals camp, State Farm Stadium. Everybody who made it out to any of the days, hopefully you had a blast. It wraps up. Next time you get to see this team, you're going to have to buy a ticket. That's Saturday. It's going to be against, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs. Have we seen any info as far as who's going to be playing for Kansas City? I can't imagine like Chris Jones is going to play. What does he have to prove?
They play their starters though. Kansas City. Mahomes is going to play.
I would imagine. Yeah. It seems like he's a guy that you can always make room for a couple snaps during the preseason.
I mean, they value preseason reps. Andy Reid has always valued it. I mean, you're going to see, that robust receiving core they've rebuilt, Xavier Worthy and company. Like, that's exciting. I'd love to see Max Melton go up against Xavier Worthy. I think, for a speed guy like that, you probably defer to Melton over Will Johnson. But, I mean, like, the Cardinals are playing their starters because I think they partially believe that Kansas City's playing their starters. Yeah. Let's have your best go against our best and see how it works out.
Is there a better first game for a guy like Will Johnson than this?
I think this is a great first game against the modern day GOAT.
I don't think they're going to see Rashee Rice or Hollywood Brown, but still, he's going to be able to get eyes on a real technician back there as far as the quarterback spot.
Daniel in the chat asking, you think it'll be one drive or a quarter? I think it'll be at least 2 drives. Depends what they do or what they don't do. I know that they are likely to play against the Broncos next week. They have the joint practice and then the game. It's like, can they ramp up to do a quarter and a half? Hell, they might do a quarter this week and a half next week. I don't know. We're in uncharted territories with Gannon in the preseason, but it's clear with his messaging, it's like, this is what's the right thing for our team. And I something tells me, like, if you're putting your starters out there, you don't want them to just go out there and go through the motions for a possession. Mm-hmm. Like, they think this is valuable, and I agree with that. So, but let's fast forward to the end of the month as the Cardinals whittle down their roster here. The preseason wraps up in 2 weeks from Sunday. That'll be it. And then it's on to the regular season. So ahead of the fight for 53, Bo, we'll put together our final 53. We'll post it. We'll have a show about it.
Yeah.
But right now, as we look ahead, are there some players or positions where you're like, that ain't going to work out? You're running thin if you're the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, well, I mean, because you've got the surplus of defensive linemen and a tough decision to make there, like if you are going to carry maybe one extra, and as you asked Gannon, he said that they're not going to shy away if they feel like they've got 8, 9 guys. And I know that's probably too much, but if they carry 7, you got to trim the fat elsewhere.
Yeah.
And that might be a little disrespectful, but you look at guys who've been in this organization since the start of the new regime, and guys that have been drafted and played a lot of downs and been there all along this journey. Like I look at a guy like Owen Pappoe. Like I think Owen Pappoe now, with just kind of the changing in the guard in the off-ball linebacker spot, like Owen Pappoe, I think needs to show something this training camp, this preseason, in order to really secure a roster spot for himself.
Yeah, Pappoe has been playing a lot with the ones, but again, like they're not. I don't think cutting Akeem Davis-Gaither. He's listed on the depth chart ahead of Pappoe. And you're not cutting Cody Simon, who had a tremendous offseason for this team.
4th round pick.
4th rounder. They carried 3 off-ball linebackers last year. So they run such few multiple off-ball linebacker sets. They use a lot of safeties, a lot of nickel. They have a surplus of defensive linemen that they'd rather prioritize, in my opinion. So, again, they're also cross-training Zaven Collins and Baron Browning to be able to come over there. So I think the writing's kind of on the wall. I think they're going to carry 3 off-ball linebackers again. So, hopefully those guys get to showcase their talents. I also look at, the depth on the interior offensive line. I think you really start to see the drop-off. And this is most teams, but with how deep the Cardinals' defensive line is, and like today, watching Jacoby Brissett try to navigate the twos with the Cardinals starting defense, I mean, like Hayden Connor, he's just not had a great camp. And I think, unfortunately, he's a little bit susceptible to being cut. The Cardinals, typically don't cut a lot of rookies, at least in 2 years with Austin Ford and Gannon. I think that's like, again, why you see a Will Hernandez be brought back potentially in stash. I think they could add another veteran interior offensive lineman ahead, from a cut from another team perhaps. I just feel like that group in particular might be pretty vulnerable to some changes.
Yeah. Hayden Connor, I think there's an opportunity for him to be practice squad.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's going to be a whole lot of teams chasing after. And that's the case usually with your 6th rounder, 7th rounder. Like we saw that last year. Like the Cardinals were able to stash both Tayshaun Palmer and Jaden Davis on their squad all season long. I know offensive linemen are top commodities, but I think Connor, you have an ability to do that. Yeah, I mean, interior-wise, like Nick Levitt got hurt today. He left the practice field, and that's coming after John Gaines has a thumb injury. So, like interior-wise, especially at the backup center position, who's going to be there? They might even have to go outside the organization to maybe, depending on what Levitt's status is. But, yeah, you need some guys to emerge. I know they brought in some guys like Jack Curran and Royce Newman, who can play multiple spots, and we'll see if there's something there for them. But you're right, there is. Jacoby Brissett has a tough assignment where he's got to go in there, and it's not the first team offensive lineman. Outside of Calvin Beachum, there's a lot of unknowns. I thought Christian Jones had some one-on-ones where, you wish he had a better rep.
Josh Fryer continues to look good. I said there was an opportunity there for a darling of new offensive line coach, Justin Fry. So we'll see what happens there. The offense, though, we're mostly talking, nitpicking back ends of some positional groups. Defensively, though, I mean, the conversation starts and ends with Justin Jones and Bilal Nichols on the defensive line, which we've talked a lot about, but it just kind of bears repeating. It's just a lot of dead money that the team potentially is going to take on, but I don't think they care. The dead money doesn't matter right now when you're trying to win games. And again, holding on to bad contracts and cutting good football players is not in the best interest of Jonathan Gannon. So I think Elijah Simmons has a golden opportunity this weekend. I think Dante Stills and LJ Collier have already made this team.
Yeah.
Walter Nolan's return from injury is imminent. He's going to come back here soon and begin practicing. Doesn't sound like he's going to be put on injured reserve to start the year. So, and then you look at safety. It's like, okay, last year they kept 3 safeties or 4 safeties. I'm sorry. Yeah. Keaton Crawford, who's special teams ace, like, can he show enough where maybe Joey Blunt's a phenomenal special teamer? It's just a very difficult defense now for some of these rookies to crack.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a tough time. And like we said, you're going to have to make really, really hard decision on some of these positions where you'd like the depth and there's maybe some unknowns there, but it's like, well, this is where we're going to really kind of make our money here in 2025. Defensive line are just in the trenches.
Yeah.
We can't bear to be without, the numbers guys, and we don't want to relinquish somebody like Elijah Simmons, who had an unbelievable rep in one-on-one, really kind of shook the offensive lineman in front of him, and it was an impressive rep. He had his teammates, his coaches alike, pumped up for him. So, excuse me, like they're in a really advantageous spot for a successful and tough roster. But man, they don't have any. The guys that they're going to part ways with, unlike last couple of years, other teams are going to covet them.
Yeah, this team is as deep as they come, and again, I feel like with the more we hear about Elijah Simmons, like if he performs in the preseason, they're going to do everything they can to make sure he's around the team this year. We've got super chats around the corner, plus highlights from training camp, and a certain Micah Parsons trade recommendation from the internet with regard to the Arizona Cardinals. It's pretty gross. That's coming up. It's PHNX Cardinals. I'll tell you what's not gross is making sure you take care of your finances with our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union. Take it from me. I use them in my daily life, my personal life. It is the best decision. Hopping over from, my Midwest Credit Union all the way out here in Phoenix, Desert Financial is the place for me. It's the only place you can show your team spirit every time you make a purchase with the exclusive debit cards branded your favorite teams, including Cardinals, Arizona State, and Northern Arizona University. They've got a team of financial experts who are committed to their members and their community, offering financial solutions tailored to helping real people achieve their financial goals and dreams. Look to Desert Financial for checking, savings, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and more. Again, open up a free checking account online with Desert Financial. Get $200 in bonuses. Again, do it right now. DesertFinancial.com/200 to get started. Again, one of my favorite reasons they're the best is they're available. They got a ton of branches here in the Valley, the East Valley in particular. So again, if you've been on the fence with your current setup, check them out, DesertFinancial.com.
Love that. Also love what's going on with Monarch Money. You ever just look at your bank account after a couple of days and say, where did all my money go?
All the time.
It was payday today. And in a couple of days, I'm going to be like, where's my money? Unless I'm rolling with our friends over at Monarch Money. They're not just going to help you budget correctly and really well. They're going to help you build wealth. Save money by using Monarch Money and being a listener, viewer of PHNX Cardinals using the code PHNX at checkout. MonarchMoney.com. You get 50% off. Yeah, half off your first year with Monarch Money. It's unbelievable. You're gonna find out if you're overspending on shopping, if you're gonna see some unexpected spending pattern. Maybe you've got too many streaming options. Maybe you're ordering food too often. Check it out. Monarch Money is going to be able to pick up on all your tendencies and help you get in the right spot financially. Get control of your overall finances with Monarch Money. Use the code PHNX, monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year with monarchmoney.com, code PHNX.
Take a break from camp conversation, head to online discourse. It's been a while since we've talked Micah Parsons. By the way, Jared Jones continues to act kind of old and senile at Cowboys camp when discussing handshake deals that never occurred with Micah. But speaking of the all-pro pass rusher, this is coming our way of Instagram. And, Bo, you might have to tell me who to credit this for. This robust Micah Parsons trade that, goodness, would leave the Cards with very few resources moving forward. I think this is from Bleacher Report.
Yeah.
The Cardinals would get Micah Parsons. The Cowboys would get a 2026 first and a second, a 2027 first, a third, and edge rusher Zaven Collins. Would you do this deal?
That's a bit rich.
Yes, that's a lot.
That's a lot to give up.
Yeah.
For Micah Parsons, even though, look, I think he's a top 5 football player in the universe. He's unbelievable, but and then give him the contract, give him upwards of $40+ million a season. That's a ton to give up. What you would get from your linebacker, your outside linebacker, still it would have to be phenomenal. It would have to be like 20 sacks. I mean, even though he can be that game wrecker, that's just you're selling the farm there for Micah Parson.
It's hard because this franchise once sold Chandler Jones for a 2nd-round pick, but you're basically punting on next year's draft. You're paying one individual generational money. Then you're punting on another 1st-round pick. It's just not how this franchise opts to team build. And again, like how much stock are you putting into this season? Do you feel like Micah Parsons is going to guarantee you a Super Bowl? Like I don't think you can sit here and say that. That's to me that's a deal Max beloved in Chicago, and I get that. But like those kind of deals do not end well. Now, like we've been banging the drum, like you steal Trey Hendrickson for a 2nd-round pick or a day 2 pick, sign me up for that. 100%, right? You know, the Cardinals were able to withstand the Rodney Hudson trade once upon a time. It was 2/3, right? Anytime you start flipping the flexibility that comes with multiple premium picks and then giving a bunch of cash, it's probably why Jerry Jones is probably not stressed that this is going to get done. Because as much as, you know, we talk about it and the Cardinals were engaged last, you know, trade deadline, I mean, it just, there's a price and no one's willing to pay that price. Like the Cowboys would probably take that deal unequivocally today if they were offered that. Nobody's offering that deal. Nobody. And this is another point that I think, you know, bears discussing is, you know, Kyler Murray is going to play well this year, hopefully. But if he doesn't, you need resources to be able to develop somebody. There's nothing left for them to develop anybody if you sell the farm for Micah Parsons.
Yeah, what was that? Was it 4 top 100 picks potentially there?
Yeah,
I mean, it was an absurd.
I mean, 2 firsts and a 2nd.
Right.
That's just absurd.
Yeah, and then a 3rd in 2027. Yeah, you would really have to put yourself in position and know unequivocally that you have the roster that there was a Micah Parsons away from getting there. And I think there's savvier moves to be made.
Yeah.
Like if you feel like you want to upgrade that position, you can do so, and you're not going to have to relinquish the draft capital that Bleacher Report, their crack staff put together. Big thanks to Josh, who sent that. He tagged you and me on Twitter.
Thank you, Josh.
So appreciate it, Josh.
Yeah, we're working to get the highlights done here. Everybody smash that like button, and let's tackle some Super Chats here on a football Wednesday of PHNX Cardinals. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so. Again, barreling our way toward 50,000 subscribers here. Let's start with our guy, $9.99. Really appreciate all the training camp content. Love you, handsome dogs. We appreciate that. It's been a banner training camp. It's gone by fast, honestly, Bo.
It has. It's a little bittersweet to bid adieu to Glendale, and it's going to be in the form of back to the facility in Tempe. That means some outside time, which I'm not looking forward to. And then also we got some on the road, on the move, some field trips for this podcast at least. Going to be, I think, the only ones out there in Denver covering the team that you love. Their joint practices with the Broncos this time next week. So looking forward to that. Appreciate you what? Is it you what?
Yeah. Now what? Now's the perfect time. Now what? And for everybody watching. So we're heading to Denver next week. We're going to cover joint practices, as Bo alluded to. We're flying out next Wednesday. Practices on Thursday. We're going to be providing behind-the-scenes content from Denver with this team, around this team, 48 hours, almost exclusively in our Discord. So become a diehard right now. Go PHNX.com. $36 can get you a T-shirt and all the content you could ever dream of at GoPHNX.com. So again, if you've been on the fence for whatever reason, we're going to hold that against you. This is a banner time to jump in. Love going on the road and love being able to provide you guys in our Discord, our diehards especially, with the kind of content that you're not going to see on social media from, frankly, other outlets here locally.
It's good to see Damon Cat in the chat with the $1.99 super chat. I saw Damon Dog around here. Maybe he wants to come over and read this.
I think he'd rather not do that.
Okay. Noah, could you read the chat from Damon Cat?
Actually, I got Damon coming up right now.
Oh.
Meow.
Wow. That's a first.
No, that's a last, I think.
No, was that really Damon Dog? Did he come up and meow?
Here, I'll get him back over here. Yeah, it was me, Damon.
Wow.
Good hell. David likely shaking his head somewhere. Shaft, $10. Thank you, my guy. I'm trying to get the Discord working, so be patient. If you sent me a message, the boys are looking good and ready to go to war and start hitting people. I'm still predicting 12-5 in 2025. Does 12-5 win the division?
Yeah, I think
You
so.
think so? 12-5, NFC West champion. I just, we cover this team. We're Cardinal fans. We're objective. We'll come on the show and rip people. It's tough. In the offseason, they've checked a lot of boxes. So we get a lot of new viewers, and they're like, man, this is like, you guys are so positive. I mean, like, stick around. Last year, post-game, Washington Commanders was not a good post-game.
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay Packers, not a good post-game.
Right.
Seattle games, like, we'll rip people and call a spade when it calls for it. This team is just so damn likable, though. Like, there were teams in the past, like, Kime was an easy guy to just kind of be like, this feels a little bit sleazy here. With what went on off the field, this is like Jonathan Gannon and Monty Ossenford are just building this team the right way.
Yeah.
The players that they brought in, the human beings that they've brought in, you want to root for them. And the talent is now matching the character of the individuals they brought in. So for me, it's like, yeah, we have a personal investment. Like this team, if they were to win the division this year, it would mean so much to all these individuals. It would solidify their place here in the Valley, frankly, for the next half decade.
Yeah, no, it's what's one of the things that makes it easy to root for or cheer for is this is not a team that takes any shortcuts. This is a team that puts in the work and try to dial in the process and make sure that they are putting everything they can into preparing for the game. And then, of course, obviously the toughest league in the world, the NFL, where the competition level, it's like you don't come to play or you get game planned the right way by the opposition.
Yep.
And you're going home with your tail between your legs.
Yeah.
And so, but at the end of the day, you see these guys that are like-minded that want to put it all out there on the field for their fan base, for their organization. For the first time in a long time, I think there's a collective group there. Where before I felt like there was guys that were in it for themselves. There were guys that were trying to prove that, look how smart I am, and this is who I found, and this is who I drafted, or this is who I signed, and other teams said they didn't want any part of it, and you saw how that went. There was a lot of inconsistencies where I think that this team, for the first time in a long time, has the ability to be consistently successful, and we'll see if this is the start of that. But at the end of the day, it's a really tough league.
Yeah.
And you can't just show up and win the games. And I think they understand that. It's not going to be for a lack of effort. I think this team is prepared as they've ever been.
Easton, $4.99. I saw you guys at camp. Ha, PHNX. Good to see you, Easton. Appreciate the super chat and the support. Great to see everybody at camp. And again, can't wait to do it again next year. Can't wait to check out these camp highlights right around the corner as we go into overtime. Big thank you to everybody watching with our many streaming partners. Head on over to gophnx.com. Again, drop us a like here. 500 likes on a football Wednesday is the goal. Noah, man, let's see these robust highlights from Glendale earlier today. There's the playmaker, Marvin Harrison Jr., looking all kinds of swole in slow motion. His crossing routes were deadly today, Bo.
Yeah, I mean, that was why he led the league in crossing route yards. Just going to work today. Didn't see any effects from the knee. Here's Will Johnson, the other side of the ball. Agent 0, sub 0, zone 0, wherever it may be. Zay Jones, I think, has become quite popular now. I think people understand 17 is going to be a bigger impact maker here in 2025. Look at this. Michael Wilson in the yellow. There's Trey McBride. More Michael Wilson. Looking good coming off the concussion. Little taste. We're going to have full highlights, of course, up on a YouTube page. Make sure you subscribe to PHNX Sports. You got the alerts set up. You'll get to see the full highlight package. But just a little taste.
We've got our last show of the week ahead of Saturday's matchup with the Arizona Cardinals and the Kansas City Chiefs. So again, subscribe to PHNX Sports. Drop us a like on this video. We're back tomorrow breaking down what really is the finality of training camp. It really does feel that way. Kansas City, travel day. So this show will be off Friday, and then we'll have wall-to-wall coverage of this team getting ready for Patrick Mahomes and company. Again, pregame, halftime, postgame show, Bo live at the stadium, Noah and I and Britton hanging out here, and then we head to Denver next week. So, the grace period is over. It's time to lock in for 2025.
Yeah. Daniel asking, can we get an Andre Pacelli appreciation moment? You want to do that?
He had a nice catch downfield.
Oh, nice. There you go.
I didn't have my phone
I think
out.
that's about as much as we.
He will not be making this team. Sorry about that. I'm sorry.
No, he's just taking arrows.
No, I hope he's sick somewhere for sure.
Probably practice squad.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with a practice squad making a couple $100,000.
Yeah.
living your
What is
dream.
it, like 16, 17K a week?
Yeah, it's good living if you can get it.
Yeah, not bad.
I'd love to join a practice squad.
They don't want you.
Okay, well, here's what I want. 500 plus likes here on a Football Wednesday. Big thanks to Noah, man, crushing it with the highlights.
Noah dealt with a lot today. We threw a lot at him during the live show. He crushed it, continues to crush it. Love that. And, you know, with Damon clearly on this show coming back to say meow, you know, I thought he was a man of integrity, but apparently not.
We have no integrity here. That's right, Noah. We do not. We appreciate all of you in all sincerity. We're back tomorrow again. Subscribe, ring that bell for notifications.
Tomorrow our preview show, I would assume.
Yeah,
right?
preview game show. Do us a favor.
Last day camp out there. It's closed to the public, but I'll have some takeaways. Make sure you're following along. PHNX_Cardinals.
Subscribe to our audio-only podcast that we'll be dropping throughout this season. So again, if you haven't been locked in, we forgive you. Go on over and hit that follow button, Apple, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your podcast. We would greatly appreciate that.
Great to see Jess back in the chat. I saw the everybody welcoming her back. It's fantastic to see such a familiar face. A loyal listener, viewer of PHNX Cardinals, comes out to our live events all the time. So great to see Jess out there. Hope you're doing well. Hopefully you're gearing up for a fun season as well. Bees, Didi, Fuddle, new diehard out there. Fantastic snacks. Love the pod. And then once again, I can't say it enough. Thank you so much. If somebody drops a dislike, like, my God, you ruthless person. How dare you? Maybe it's probably Damon Dog.
I respect it.
Yeah. Thanks to each and every one of you that said hi to us out there at camp. Very humbling, and it makes it even better. Like, we love what we get to do here and be a part of this community, and it's times to interact with all of you. That's the main reason for it.
Yep. For Bo, no, I'm Johnny Venerable. We'll see you on Thursday. Take care, everybody.
We all silly like the mayor.